This is the BGG Climbers for the week ending 3/29/2023. This list is put together every week by Mike Alexander. I'll include links in the description below if you want to take a look at the list. Let's get into it. Let's see what number 10 is. Number 10 is Revive. So we talked about this one last week. One interesting thing to note is this has been rated 8.24 with new ratings for the last 3 weeks. I don't know if that's a bug in the list or if it's real, but seems to be getting very consistent ratings of that. We're at 875, so it has been moving up fairly quickly, and I think we need to give this a few more weeks. But if it continues at this and continues getting a good number of ratings, then it has a possibility of breaking into the top 100. Number 10, Revive. Number 9, Force of Pangaea. So this one, I believe, is a Kickstarter that I saw. Let me take, Kickstarter. Yeah, I remember seeing this one. So this Kickstarter must be getting delivered with its initial copies now. I did like the look of it, but I don't know. There'd been photosynthesis, and I wasn't super impressed by it. And this looked like a really good presentation around a game that maybe was too abstract. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of abstract games in general, but also I tend to restrict my Kickstarter backing mostly to more heavier games. This was lighter end of the spectrum. Fantasy, territory building, area influence, so normal stuff with a really good presentation. Let's see what these fun, easy to learn, not many actions. Looks like, Kickstarter backers are getting their game. And is it going to be the top 100? Probably not, but we're just got our first week of people really getting the Kickstarter and rating it. So, I mean, I guess it's been a few weeks, but first one where we've gotten a significant number of ratings. So let's give it a little bit and see what happens. So number 9, Force of Pangaea. Number 8, Steam Up, A Feast of Dim Sum. So we saw this one, I think, last week, and it probably was on here a week before of it. A really good presentation, but man, these are some pretty low ratings for a Kickstarter game. So I think people are not super happy with the gameplay in this one. Again, most games are a game first and a presentation on top of that game. And maybe there's some flaws or some issues. Hard to say unless I dug in the comments, but I think it's safe to say at this point it's very unlikely this one will end up in the top. Number 8, Steam Up, Feast for Dim Sum. Number 7 is Frosthaven. So this is continuing to rocket up the list, although I guess only 149 new ratings this week. So the amount of ratings coming in, I guess, is fairly consistent. It's about 150 a week for a lot of weeks. I mean, I guess some weeks it's closer to 300. I do think this is likely to, I would say, is probably going to eclipse Gloomhaven for the number 1 spot. The ratings are just so high at this point, and we already have 3,000 ratings. And given the success of Gloomhaven, I guess it's not Gloomhaven number Brass, Birmingham. So this one I do think will eclipse Brass at this point. It's just looking too strong of a rating. Again, as I mentioned before, because anyone that didn't like Gloomhaven probably isn't even going to try Frosthaven. And so the chance of having a low rating, a lower rating for those people that tried it out and didn't like it. So it's a lot of reasons why like second editions tend to skew higher than first editions, assuming they get enough uptake, which I think Frosthaven will. So number 7, Frosthaven. Number 6, Hegemony, I think that's how you pronounce it. Lead your class to victory. So this is a Kickstarter that looked really good. I actually backed it on Kickstarter. I haven't gotten my copy yet, but I guess some people are getting them. Maybe not in the United States. This game is a pretty heavy Euro, where each person is going to be playing a different class essentially, and at least from what I remember, you're kind of have different ways of functioning, different ways of manipulating the game to your class, and obviously different goals. The game presentation, when I backed it, looked really good, and that was part of the reason why I decided to back the game. And also that I guess at the time there hadn't been like a heavier game that I was really um, ratings. So a lot of nines, a lot of eights. Truly fantastic game. It's a monster to learn, which it did look like. It did look like the game was quite complex, but this is a lot of really, really positive ratings. So 10, 9, 8. But the people that have rated it very strongly in terms of liking the game. And it looks like it's uh, New Zealand and Australia and maybe even Europe have been getting the copies of the game. Either way, I'm excited to get this one. It's probably going to be a while till I get a chance to play it. I have so much stuff to play, but I am, definitely more excited to get it now that I'm starting to see some really strong ratings out of this game. Even stronger than a normal Kickstarter game. So number 6, Hegemony. Number 5, Bamboo. So I think we saw this one last week as well. Yeah, so this game was I think a good looking game. It's from Devere, who's done some really nice presentations in the past. As far as how it's doing, let's go back. Let's actually see the ratings here. So it's a kind of a medium weight game. It's not getting a lot of 10s, and it's kind of hovering around the 8. A lot of 7s, a lot of 9s. So not a super high rating for a game, I would say at this point. And it's come down to an average of 7.46. So it's doing okay. I think we need to give it a few more weeks to see how this one ends. Number 5, Bamboo. Number 4, Darwin's Journey. This is interesting. This was a Kickstarter game from a long time ago. There's another one that I didn't back. Can't remember. I didn't back that one. I didn't back this one, actually. I think for similar reasons. I felt like it probably wasn't going to get played that much. And it didn't look as interesting, I think, as Hegemony. I didn't like the presentation of this game as much either. Like, everything kind of looked busy on the map. Like 1800s or 1700s, like spewed all over the map. And theme didn't seem as interesting. Exploration, travel, and the worker placement Euro game in which players recall Charles Darwin's memories of his adventure through the Galapagos Islands, which contributed to the development of his theory of evolution. So, okay, and you have to level up your workers to be able to do stuff, or you have to train your workers. I guess not really a real rating. Let's look at the actual ratings. A lot of these people. It looks like in Europe they're getting it. It's getting solid ratings in Europe. So I don't know. We'll see. It could be, I guess this one has potential to be to go up from here possibly for people. But it's not a bad sign that it's in the middle of 8s with the first probably couple hundred ratings for real copies that have been. Number 4, Darwin's Journey. Number 3, Star Wars deck building game. So this again is I guess it's a Star Realms-esque deck building game, and it seems to be doing very well. This, Fantasy Flight has had a number of really solid LCGs, and I think that maybe this isn't a living card game. I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe they're getting rid of the living card game and calling it deck building game. But I wouldn't be surprised if they have expansions. It's because it's Star Wars, it's gonna do at least decent, or people will look at it, and it's a plus if it's actually a. Number 3, Star Wars the deck building game. Number 2, Earth. So I think we've seen this on the list for quite a while. As I mentioned last week, I was playing it online on Board Game Arena, which is a really good implementation for it. I think it's a fun game, especially on Board Game Arena, but it's not a game that I feel like I'd want to play in person. I think if I was going to play a game that's like an engine builder, that's nature themed, I'd probably just go for Lost Ark. I think Lost Ark's a better game than Earth, even though there's some unique stuff going on here. But after 3 plays, I think there's a fairly predictable strategy to take, and to at least have a decent chance of winning the game. And I guess I'd be fairly certain that strategy would work across multiple games. Obviously, because of the random nature of the game, the strategy. Because in this game, you're gonna get random cards to start with. You're gonna draw random cards off the deck, and the only mitigation for it is drawing more cards, which ends up wasting more time. So if you don't get the right combination of cards, you're kind of screwed, which is mitigated in games like, I guess, Ark Nova has some mitigations. I feel like Terraforming Mars drafting has the most mitigations. Like, if you're doing the drafting play, Terraforming Mars, which is the only way I play Terraforming Mars. And so maybe a drafting variant of this game would do that, or having like a display that you could choose from, but that's probably going to introduce its own problems. And the game, I think, would already play fairly long outside of Board Game Arena because there's a lot going on. Number 2, Earth. Number 1, Distilled. So we saw this one again last week. Its rating is actually creeping up. So as more and more people get this, I guess it started out kind of high, but the next week it's been creeping up, which is interesting. I think if it continues at this rate, and assuming there's a retail version of it, which I think there would be, I may have to take a look at this in the future. There you have it. That is the BGG Climbers for the week ending 3/29/2023. If you like this video, please like and please subscribe, and please take a look at our other videos.